Hi, this is Alex Skolnick from Testament, and you're watching Loudwire.
Now, as a student of the guitar, such an accomplished jazz musician, you were away from metal for a little bit.
Right.
Would you say that feeling of playing on stage is really what keeps you coming back to metal, that maybe you can't get as an outlet in playing some other forms of music?
Well, I like the energy of it, and the sense of community, because there's just, it's a music I grew up on. I was very young when I started, so just because I never wanted to be limited to it, I never stopped loving it. So I also think it's just, it feels natural. I mean, it feels natural for me to play other genres as well. I mean, there's musicians that I know from outside of metal that will see me in concert with Testament, and they're in shock because they know me as either this acoustic player or playing like a hollow body jazz guitar with F holes. They've seen me in these very different contexts, but it's a different side. It's a side of what I do, and I like having different sides. I don't want to just be defined by one thing. I know that's unusual, but it just makes sense to me.
Makes sense to me too.
Yeah. Cool.
And
it actually makes sense to more people now than it used to, I think.
Especially because a lot of metal musicians, they are studious about the guitar. It's not just I'm content with this and imitating the other. They want to excel and be better. I mean, it's very much an alpha thing in the metal community to try to, out-guitar someone else. So bringing in all these outside influences is definitely one way to do that.
Yeah, well, I think also when I started out with Testament, the faster, heavier stuff was more inspired by sort of the Motorhead, Slayer. Venom was very big back then too. That school of things, which is almost more punk rock, and that was great too. But I had grown up on Ozzy and Van Halen.
Yeah.
So I always wanted to sort of bring the musicianship to it, and I'm not taking all the credit for it, but now, the musicianship is a big part of the music, and I mean, a few years after Testament started, that was Marty Friedman joined Megadeth. And then, you had Pantera. Dimebag was somebody he knew his Van Halen and and his Randy Rhoads. He was a big student of the guitar, and I think just that you've had more and more advanced guitar playing. Like there's a place for advanced guitar playing in the music, and. I got to the point where I just said, it takes so much work to be able to do this well, to be able to know your way around a fretboard and have the technique that's required to do this. Why limit it to just one thing?
Exactly.
I like listening to Django Reinhardt. Why shouldn't I
incorporate a little bit of that?
Yeah, I can even. It's definitely influenced a lot of the ideas that have found their way into both Testament and Metal Allegiance and various projects. So it's a lot of fun.